first panel we had this morning about the government of the United States and confidential sources and the fear that the government no longer has to subpoena us in order to get our sources, but can actually get it from digital records and therefore identify them, and we have to be careful. At the end of that panel, there was a discussion, I think it was Bob Baer who was saying that you've got to be much more worried about private industry and what they can get. And that takes us to our next subject, which is the only award that we give. And we call it the Markoff Award. It's named after John Markoff, a reporter here in the San Francisco Bureau of the New York Times, who covers Silicon Valley. And it originated because John was doing a story about what was going on inside Hewlett-Packard a number of years ago, along with other reporters, and there were leaks from inside the board of directors, and his stories would have, in a sense, verbatim conversations about what went on. And the chairman of the board of the company, and also the CEO, got very upset about this, and they hired private investigators to find out who was talking. And what did they find? They found the telephone toll records of the members of the board, and they went and got the telephone toll records, because they could figure it out, of the reporters they were talking to. And one of them was John Markoff. This is illegal, although the law around it at that time was not that clear-cut. It has been since then because of this case. And as a result, the New York Times, on behalf of John Markoff, sued Hewlett-Packard. And they won, in the sense that Hewlett-Packard settled, and they paid $250,000 to John Markoff. However, the New York Times, being an institution with the kinds of rules and procedures that sometimes I really like, told John that he couldn't keep the money. So he had to give it away. So he gave us $100,000. Therefore, and the award is dedicated to major corporations who want to spy on reporters. We encourage them to do it as long as they get caught. So, with that as a way of background, we want to give out 2 Markoff Awards this year. The first one goes to Liz Simons, who's sitting right here. And it's because her family foundation, the Heising Simons Foundation, is the entity that put up the money to buy our building through the University of California. And Liz wants us to say a couple of words as to why and how this all came about. But what it meant for us is no more rent, no more utilities. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's such an honor to be up here in front of all of you who are doing such important work in the world. And I think I'm getting this award in part also because I've been a big advocate of student journalism, and in fact I'm on the board of the Daily Californian, and in fact I have one here, and I think 30% of its readers still read it like this. And every time I talk to those students who are with the paper, I am newly awed by their dedication to a free and independent press. And it's amazing to me that they managed to be full-time students at one of the most rigorous universities in the world and still put out a paper that wins awards every single year. And in fact, they're up for a Pacemaker Award for their website. It's been just announced by the Associated Collegiate Press that they have one of the top-ranked student websites in this country. So kudos to them. And also, I'm just so excited that the Daily Cal gets to share its digs with part of the Graduate School of Journalism, as well as the investigative reporting program. And I feel like the opportunities for learning and synergy abound in this pivotal and dynamic time for journalism. So thank you so much.
Two things. One, the cartoon of John, or picture of John, is done by Robbie Canal, an old friend of mine who's a poster artist down in Los Angeles. And if you're interested in his other, I think, spectacular work, just go to a website called artattack.com. The second, by the way, what she was describing is the building is split between, the Daily Cal is on one side and we're on the other, and we share a courtyard and doorways and a conference room and so on. So it's been really great for us because it gives us a constant stream of new recruits. The second award goes to Yossi Hollander, who has become a donor to the IRP and came to our rescue last year at a critical moment. And he wants to come up and say a couple of words about journalism, and I believe trying to assist us in learning about how to get our message out. Yossi.
Thank you, Lowell. Thank you, John. I really don't understand much about journalism. I'm a reader, maybe an avid reader, and probably addicted to it because I read everything, listen to everything from the right, the left, above and below, and I read and I watch and everything like that. And I think that is actually my big question. I think investigative journalism as a crisis, I address this to everybody, but I address it specifically to the funders in this room. I think we spend too much money right now on thinking about how to get the right story out and maybe a discussion on what the story is, but not enough about distribution. I'm a high-tech guy. The best product never wins in high-tech, okay? It's distribution. It has to be a good product. It can't be a bad product. But distribution is the key, and I think the world has been divided to a lot of small segments of population, and all of them are interested in what we have and what we're doing. If you think that the Lance Armstrong story is a left or a right or a rich or a poor, it's interesting for everybody. All those stories that were here have nothing to do with a right or a left or anything like that. And there's just small audiences out there. The world is now composed of small audiences with small access tools to them, whether it's a small TV or a cable or a blog or not just online, or maybe it's just radio, or maybe it's podcasts, or maybe it's something else. And I think my call is actually to start maybe have a separate discussion on that, okay? Maybe a group of all the funders to get together and start seeing how we put money into opening the investigative journalism to be a major distributed product, and I look at it as a product, and not just limited to, let's say, what we used to do. Thank you, and I hope somebody will take it up.
You have to take this with you, even if you don't like the picture.